in Thought.
All right, let's get started. You may learn something.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Black in Thought, where we take a look at current and cultural issues, applying that Afrocentric drip to them. Your hosts tonight are...
We got the Professor, D, me, Ill Will. Dale's still out Friday Night Lights getting his coaching going on. We got a couple in-studio guests tonight. You've heard her before. Lynn. It's been some strong conversations when she's been on the show before. And we also have a new guest, Denise. So this is going to be an interesting night. It's another Freestyle Friday for us. So the topics are going to be a little bit all over the place. But, you know, we'll keep it in good content and keep it motivated, keep listening and things like that. Of course, there's a lot of things going on. There's been a couple debates going on. You've had that situation. Life in general. I mean, everybody's talking about shutting down the United States again because of the corona. And then, you know, just maintaining normal life. Balances, you know, as we've talked about before with everything else that's going on in the world. So, you know what I mean? Let's get it started.
Heard the craziest shit this week. And I was asking about what's this affection with African-American men and Donald Trump. And I had to ask the question because there's a group in our city that supports him for whatever reason. And so I'm doing some talking and asking some people, you know, some like brothers, hey man, what's the affection with him? And they had the nerve to say, he acts like a nigga. Oh, and I said, in what way does he act like a nigga? Well, you know, he can tell lies really, really well. If you look at the debate, anytime there's something he gets caught up in, he'll look at you real crazy and do his fingers like the Birdman and say, hold on, ask that again, you know, and then he goes back into it. But
nah, nigga.
Yeah. I agree. Again, that was just an excuse. But I couldn't understand what it is with our black men, specifically those who support Trump, especially when he seems to advocate and I don't want to say enforce, but support those
I can put some correlation.
Who seem to be racist.
I can put some correlation to some of those thoughts for you. I mean, and of course not my thoughts, but one famous person, 50 cents. I mean, he said, I don't want to be 20 Cent because of Joe Biden's tax plan. He said he would lose so much money under Joe Biden's tax plan, he's willing to support Donald Trump because he could keep his millions.
Over some money.
Okay,
over some money.
But hold on. Okay, so hold on.
So basically, fuck everybody else.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Exactly.
It's all about me.
Because this is what happens. D, this is what happens. We use our tax dollars to fund programs in our society. So if we're not raising those taxes, where is that revenue coming from? Are they pulling programs, right? Because all my life, all I've heard and experienced is the more you earn, the more you pay. That's why a lot of times when I was working in the automotive industry, worked in a factory, you know, we would work X amount of hours and say, dang, I was better off working 60 hours rather than 80 hours.
Hey, I learned that. You're right.
Because we were paying for those programs. Remember, the middle class supports our society. And right now, we're currently in a state where we have a deficit. We have programs that we need to fund. We have programs, I believe, that we need to defund. But there's a lot of things in our society that needs that revenue. And we're at the point now, we're just pulling flesh off a skeleton if we choose not to tax. So what do you guys think about that?
I'm hearing nothing from the ladies.
Yeah, I don't know any black men that support Donald Trump, so I can't speak to that. I understand what you're saying. I do think that in general, whether they support Donald Trump or not, they may support the things that Donald Trump or the Republican Party is supposed to stand for, like pro-life, well, pro-embryo, which is a whole nother topic, and you know, some of the things that the Republican Party itself stands for, you know, smaller government and those kinds of things. But I don't know any black men that support him. So
well,
I know a couple.
Well, let me go
work with a couple.
Can I go a little deep?
Like Jacques Cousteau.
Can I go deep real quick?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Perfect segue. I can tell you why there are some black men who support Donald Trump. Listen to his language. I have done more for blacks than any other person.
No, the blacks.
The
Oh,
blacks.
I
That's
apologize.
it. The
Big
blacks.
leagues. Big leagues. Thank you.
The blacks.
Blake, thank you. Big
Basically,
league.
basically what he's saying is
So the blacks.
them niggas.
Them niggas, right? I have done more for blacks outside of Abraham Lincoln. This is why he's doing his hands. You know he's a racist. Than Abraham
He's throwing
Lincoln.
up his bees.
So I'm his bees. Yeah. So I'm going to plant a seed in your mind to give you a glimpse on how he thinks and the whole foundation of his thinking. If you think back to where we were getting rid of slavery and they've decided, okay, maybe we should include blacks in our economy. Maybe we should let them own and have things. But the only way we were able to do that is if we had opportunities of employment, right? So you give us a job, we earn money, we work for 40 years, we do 40 hours a week, we earn a check, we join a bank, we invest, so on and so forth. His language is this, and I want you guys to think about this. The first time you got a job, what's the first thing they say? Go get a bank account, right?
Yeah.
And you save your money, you put your money in the bank, and then when you build up, you buy a home and you buy a car. Now, I've had two experiences. I've had the experience where I have, like I currently now have employment, but I own my own business, right? Now, just want you to think about this. I'm going to go left field, but I'm going to bring it back in. It's easier to attain a loan. It's easier to buy a car or a house when you work for someone, yes or no?
Yes.
It is
theoretically.
very hard.
No.
It's very hard to get those same things when you have your own business.
No.
Right? So hold on. I'm glad she's saying no because, again, the professor's here to teach.
But she's a banker.
Thank you.
I have another victim.
17 years of banking experience. The
17 years.
answer would be
17 years of
no.
banking. Let me finish what I'm going to say, and then you can go in, and then I'm gonna teach you a lesson. So, with that being said, it is easier. Listen to me. The difference between the two candidates, as far as thinking and fundamentals, is he says, "Well, I've done this, and this for blacks." It is easier when you're working for someone to attain the American dream. When you're working for yourself, it is very hard to get a loan. It is very hard to get property. It is very hard to own things. It's very hard to get.
They scrutinize you a little more. They scrutinize you more.
You didn't let me finish.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, I know you agree, but let me finish because it's for our
Business owners must be scrutinized significantly greater.
So
Unless you got your shit
So what I'm
together.
saying is, the president says we've done more for blacks. Giving me a job is not really doing anything for me. It's keeping me in bondage. Biden says, I'm going to give you opportunities to own your own business. I'm going to help you with funding, which allows you to be independent of the workforce. Now, granted, both are streams of income. The difference between owning and having a job is you can accumulate more wealth, right? So my point to you is this. My point to you is this. The language that the president currently has is that I've done more for blacks, and he's talking about the economy. You know, the economy is greater than it's ever been. I funded this, I funded that, I funded this. But the point is, he's a racist. And you guys kept interrupting me. I forget what I was saying. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah, that's what happened when you interrupted.
Hold on. Denise, go ahead.
So, don't you think that a lot of some of the men that support Donald Trump feel like, he's being honest? I know his thought process. I know how he feels about me up front. So, I don't know how Biden says XYZ, but he really could hate blacks.
See, I think they're delusional when they feel that because I don't think they really know what they're thinking of, what he thinks about them. Because I mean, it truly is.
Of course they do, ill will. Of course they do.
Well, no, they're living in a fantasy world.
They're not ill will.
Because if they really truly knew, I mean, to let someone degrade you like that, and you still want to be on board.
That is true.
So ill will. No, it's not true. Let's rewind. Black men have a low emotional intelligence. It's because of everything that we've been through. Our mindset is, I'd rather you do me dirty in my face.
That's a big generalization.
Yeah, I don't.
Hold on, we're not talking about
issue,
banking
man.
yet. We're not talking about banking yet.
I
Thank
don't
you.
need to
We're
talk
not
about
talking about
banking.
banking
Talk
yet.
about
We're talking about
generalizations.
black men. So, with that being said,
I know a few
black
of them.
men have a low emotional intelligence. Our philosophies, because we've been so beaten down and battered emotionally, is I'd rather you do me wrong in my face. I can respect that, whether you do me wrong behind my back. That's our
I
mentality.
still disagree because I mean, at the end of the day, for me,
So how do you explain?
You don't
how do you explain what Denise just said then?
to talk behind my back means you got so much respect for me that you can't do it in my face.
Or
That's
you
disrespectful.
That you
That's disrespect.
And I'm
That's just as bad.
I'm cool with that.
behind my back. I mean, I'm gonna find out. I mean, it's gonna happen. But
Because-
if you can tell it to my face, I can respect you so much more. Saying something to my face,
shooting you in your stomach and shooting you in your back is still assault. Yes or no?
It is. You're right.
Okay, that's my point.
One's a cowardly way, and the other's,
But is it still assault? Okay, that's the point. That's the point.
I'm sorry.
The point is
What the fuck are you talking about again?
we're talking about. They're talking about the affinity or the affection that some black men have for Trump. And Denise stated that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's the fact that he'll tell you to your face. I can't remember if you said that.
I believe that some individuals feel like if you're going to talk about me, if you're going to say X, Y, Z about me, I'd rather know you're racist up front. But also on the same token, a lot of African American men don't like Biden for the simple fact that they feel like he helped incarcerate other African Americans. The same with Kamala Harris. They feel that way about both of them. They don't feel that they did enough for the black community. So that's why some individuals don't support him.
I did hear, though, that the Congressional Black Caucus also approved that 1994 bill. So unfortunately, Biden went with the flow,
right?
Whose ever flow that is,
it's majority,
and so
it's the majority.
Whether it was intentional or unintentional, that's what happened. But here's what I do like about Biden is he said out loud, "I was wrong.
I made a mistake."
And that's what I will not tolerate: someone who doesn't ever say that he's wrong, including the professor.
Well, let's look at this. I'm skeptical of both candidates. But you have to understand this. That when Biden, now listen to this. This was at the height of the crack epidemic. Okay, drugs were pouring in our communities. People were getting addicted. It wasn't a war on drugs until it started affecting our civil servicemen, our cops, our military men, so on and so forth, and our Caucasian friends.
Yeah, it wasn't a war on drugs. It started affecting them.
So I'm giving you some basis for that. And there's a book called Shooting the Moon with Miguel. What's his name? The guy who was Manuel Noriega. He was in charge of the Panamanian Defense Force, and he was helping to supply that coke to America by way of the CIA. But the point is this: it became a war on drugs when it started affecting those who are Caucasian, our civil servicemen, because the perception was that crack cocaine. I'm getting to a point.
Crack was for the black folks.
Yeah,
and heroin was for the white folks.
So what happened was they had, if you remember, Nancy Reagan say no to dope, President Reagan. So what happened was they had to go to the communities they poured the drugs in our communities. Some of us fell susceptible to that addiction, and then some of us took it, like we took the rock and turned it to a mountain and started selling it. So they had to do that. They had to fight the battle some way, somehow. Currently now with the heroin epidemic, no difference.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to spend a whole lot of time talking about Trump.
He said I'm ready to move on.
According to Pew Research, only 98% of black women and 81% of black men didn't vote like that for Trump. Like we're talking 6% of the African American population voted for Trump.
But it just looks like
too
many.
Yeah,
it is too many. But I don't waste my time on 6% of anything.
We'll go ahead and move on from Trump. Hey, so listen, I got a question.
We know who has
he got a question.
So listen,
he got a question.
He's sensitive. That's your president.
So all this race stuff going on. Do y'all think that with the conversation we're having with white people, we can fix this?
Of course we can fix it.
Okay.
It's a long, drawn-out process, though. It's nothing short, sweet, and simple. Do we have that time?
But you're talking about accountability and ownership.
Yeah, just talk.
So they have to relearn everything they were taught.
All of that.
Everything.
No, not what they're taught. Relearn what they don't know.
No, what they were taught.
No, what they don't know, because they were taught something. We gotta teach them.
That's the purpose of relearning. Because everything that they were taught was incorrect. Majority of the things.
I got you. I got you. Is it
So,
possible? Ladies?
Anything's possible. I agree.
Till the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
Here's a question.
Every once in a while.
Do we have time and patience for that?
We do. Because right now time is of the essence.
There you go.
Right? We can't afford to lose another black man. We can't afford to have our economy and our civilization to stabilize because of these trashy beliefs. We can't have that. So when I say time is of the essence, we have countries like China who are tech giants who have very strong economies. We have Russia, who we really need to keep an eye out for because they're working with China because they don't have the funding or the revenue to get access to the oil that's beneath their ground and to build these new weapons, these arsenal, to build their arsenal. So yeah, we do. Time is of the essence, and we need to find a solution fast because if we don't, we will be a third world country really, really quick, especially with having a deficit. So think about it like this, and not to harp on the president. He is a man who has filed bankruptcy many, many times. Our country is in massive amount of debt. Did you see any correlation with that?
So we can, through the racial conversations, you feel they're effective.
I think at the end of the day, if each one reaches one, it makes a difference. And so I think I've had a lot of these conversations, some of them in a Christian context, some of them outside of it. But ultimately, I think a lot of white people just don't know what they don't know, to both of your point. I think you're both accurate. And so if as they begin to have these conversations, stuff happens. For example, had a person say to me, well, if this stuff isn't in the history books, who writes the history books? Well, who writes the history books determines what you learn. And then I had someone say, well, God, family, country. And then there was a conversation about, but if I am a Christian, then sometimes our country's, our allegiance to our country is inappropriate. Our allegiance should be to our Christ. And sometimes our country doesn't always align with our Christian beliefs. So I just think sometimes it's just a matter of, it didn't even dawn on them. They didn't have to think about it. They were able to live in this bubble and not think anything of it. And if you can have a conversation or two or three, and that multiplies, if each one reaches one to the next one to the next one, then I think we make a difference. But I also think that to some degree, as multiracial families continue to exist in our culture, there will come a point where, how much will race, I don't want to say it won't matter, but how much of it is going to be black and white as much as it's just this conglomeration of different people and cultures and all those things.
So, D, what was that last question again? You were talking about, is it too late? Was that the last question? Or
No.
What was the last question?
Do we have the patience and time to help them understand?
Patience is a small resource compared to a life. So yeah, we do have the patience. We do have that as a resource. I think that African Americans, we have the patience to have this conversation and this dialogue if it's progressive, right? I mean, change is one thing, growth is another. Yeah. We're always changing, right? But if this change equates to growth, we are more than patient. Because if that stops another black man from dying, if that makes the level feel level and balanced, then we have plenty of patience. I mean, we've had patience all these years. Think about the ones who were enslaved working on the cotton field. So I'm sure they had patience.
Let me ask this question. So a lot of people were mad at Ice Cube. And I think people really did not understand what Ice Cube was doing. Because Ice Cube went to both parties and, tried to talk to Biden. Biden was like, nope, let me get your vote first, then I'll talk to you. And then while Trump, they decided to talk. And so, in the interim, it looks like, okay, well, he's dealing with Trump and he's working with Trump when in all actuality, still trying to push a black agenda, but Biden just refused to talk to him, not till after he got the vote. And it was, man, this meme cracks me up. I saw it's like a car where it kicks somebody outside of the car and it says the black vote, the person being kicked out of the car being the Democrats, and then after the election, it says that.
I think whoever told Trump to speak with Ice Cube was a genius, and the reason that they did that was it's a political move. He doesn't care about Ice Cube, but he knows that Ice Cube can reach other individuals.
Yep.
So why not listen to you halfway? Listen to whatever the hell you want to say, and then act like and nod and act like I'm going to help you, and then after the election, if I win, act like I don't know you.
So I'm going to have to stretch you on this one. So
it ain't me.
I'm like Denise.
It was a business.
It was an excellent exchange. It was a brilliant transaction. Now he takes this rapper, entertainer, celebrity who's a Democrat, black man, and he says, "Hey, I'll talk to you," but this racist cracker won't even talk to his own to the political and the Democratic congressman or Democrat. Matter of fact, he failed to acknowledge one of our great, what was the man?
Elijah Cummings.
Elijah Cummings. So you mean to tell me that all it takes, see, and this is where we got to get better, black people. We got to get better because there's so many different things that they're flashing for. They're playing this magician game to us. Oh, Ice Cube, we should, but he failed to acknowledge Elijah Cummings. He was a Democrat. So he'll take this dialogue from Ice Cube as if he represents the people, but he won't take it from a person who educated himself and dedicated himself to blacks.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's smoke and mirrors.
So let's have the conversation.
It's
Let's
smoke
have
and
the
mirrors.
conversation. Yeah.
It's marketing.
You're not gonna pull that over my eyes.
He's now business wise, he has a business mind.
Right.
He does.
Right.
But
Because
as far as politics and running the country and national security, he gets an F.
Oh, he's
I mean,
blind.
he's a fucking idiot. Excuse me.
we're in a lot of danger.
Hold on.
lot of
Denise.
I'm sorry.
What is he again?
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Fuck it. I like that shit. Say that shit.
Oops, was I not supposed to say that?
You good, girl.
Yeah.
But can I say something real quick? So you know how you were just talking about how we can get whites to, how can we educate whites when it comes to us? But I believe that we first have to educate ourselves because we have black on black crime like it's going out of style. It's easy for us to point the finger to them. We already know they hate us. But we must love each other, and we have to uplift each other and educate each other because we are going to be extinct in a sense if we don't stop killing one another
Amongst ourselves.
I agree with Denise.
But I would say I think some of that with ourselves too because of a economical issue too.
It's
But hold on.
economic, it's educational, it's mental health.
Yes, all-
It's all the things
Right.
that that everybody needs to participate. Black, white, orange, yellow, and purple.
Yeah.
And so
Right, but Denise is right. See, I'm not concerned about changing the white folks' mind.
Me neither.
See, change of this world starts in our homes.
Yep.
Right? The way we
Be
raise
the
our
change
children.
you want to
In the
see.
six-
Be the change you want to
You
see,
didn't
right?
change you want to
So
see.
I was asked today, I had a meeting today, and I was asked today, what makes me happy? What drives me? I said,
Money.
no, it's not. It's not at all, actually.
Time off.
But the fact that
Talking about me,
when your children become
my wife.
much better than you ever have become, right? Because that's the way to get the world better. We can sit there and go on these commercials, do these infomercials, and try to have this dialogue with white folks. But I say, start in your home.
But I will
Start in your
disagree
home.
because I think that when you look at the highest levels of government and the police force and all of those places, that's where white people are, and that's where they really need to step up and to stand for the same things. I'm not disagreeing that it's mental health and education and housing, affordable housing and poverty and food security, but if the majority culture does not stand for those things, then we're not going to get any motion.
Well, that's a good point, Lynn. But let me refresh your memory. We don't need white folks for anything. They needed us. That's why we came to this country.
That was
The reason
1,400 years ago. I'm
Okay,
talking
and then-
about
okay,
2020.
I'm not-
She said
hold on,
right
hold
now.
on.
I'm talking about today.
And Lynn, that's a perfect segue.
Today.
Because I don't know if you ever listened to our podcast when we were talking about.
I'm a fan, actually. I'm a big fan.
Good.
See, that's why
So,
she's here.
So
I'm here.
So
Yeah,
remember,
we bring our groupies.
remember
on
was it
every now
called
and then.
was it called Black Monday? Where
love
the
the
economy
groupies.
dipped when we pulled out and we
It was a
Blackout
Tuesday.
week.
Blackout
Or
week.
Blackout week.
Tuesday.
Blackout
Yeah.
week.
Tuesday.
Do you know that as small as we are, I think we're 8% of the population, 12% of businesses owned, that our buying power is so massive.
Because we try to compete.
Cause we spend
unfortunately.
frivolously on shit we don't need.
Yep.
Like
What's
Gucci
bondage? It's slavery.
Flip-flops.
It's bondage.
Gucci's.
It's bondage.
Louis Vuitton
Pampers.
purses.
Instead of
Louis Vuitton wallets.
Burberry.
Instead
Let me tell y'all
of
something.
buying equitable goods, we spend money on stuff like that because you know why? In our minds, still that's symbolic to success.
But
It's
that,
about
some of that,
success.
okay, I'm gonna ride your
I
slavery
like
train
just
for a
logging
minute.
in and looking at my shit.
I'm gonna ride your slavery train for a minute. Some of that has to do with the fact that you spent, 200, 300 years ago, our ancestors were spending their time in the field wearing rags. And so then on Sunday, when you go to church, you wanted to get dressed up and you wanted to wear
Sunday's
a
best.
different, Sunday best. And so I would say, but to me, that is still mental health. That is still a poverty mentality. I don't know if I would call it a slave mentality, Professor, but I would call
Self-care
it
is the best care.
I would call it a poverty and a mental
Gotta
health
take care of myself.
And
need.
that's a good point, Lynn. I think that our ancestors had a lot on their shoulders, but I can assure you fashion wasn't one of them. Freedom probably was the number one thing, especially working in the field.
I mean,
that's
once
why
you
our
get to it-
ancestors focused on
Yeah.
ownership.
Sure.
They focused on ownership.
My great-grandmother's great-grandmother may have been more concerned with getting free, but my grandmother was more concerned with what she looked like when she went to church on Sunday, and that is my direct
Right,
influence.
self-care.
When we-
Self-care.
When we go to these most recent 30-ish years of my life, right? Like, then you need to look at why I would choose to wear my Sunday best, and it's because of my grandmother. And so that's an influence that comes generation to generation.
All right, speaking of self-care, how many men take care of themselves?
That is an extinct
Well,
art.
hold on.
I'm gonna keep it real
Well, it
with
depends on the
y'all,
work-life
man.
balance.
Hard-working men.
It depends on the work-life
So-
balance.
Well, no.
How do we get here? How do we get to
we just switched. I mean, it was just
Freestyle Friday.
How we
Freestyle
get
Friday.
from slavery to
Freestyle, keep
manscaping?
up.
Hey, there's nothing wrong.
Freestyle Friday.
No, manscaping. You have to take care of yourself.
From head to toe.
I mean,
You gotta take care of yourself.
I mean, women don't like rusty balls. I mean,
hey, baby power is essential. Shit, you got me. Shit ain't rough,
it's.
man.
I mean, you got to clip your toenails and stuff like that. You got to get a pedicure every now because you can't be like scratching up the back of their leg.
And look, the sheep be like, squirt.
Y'all have problems.
How do we get here today?
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
Just switch
But
gears.
D, on a serious note, serious note, black men, we don't take care of each other. We don't take care of ourselves.
We
anymore.
don't.
Most of y'all don't.
That's mental
I
health.
take care of myself, shit.
I mean,
But I'm
And
talking
physical
about
health,
like
too,
health,
right? Mental
Yeah,
health
oh,
and
you're
physical
right,
health.
bro.
and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
a prime example.
Mental health.
A prime example.
Emotional health.
For the last, 10 years. I mean, I've not taken as much time off for myself as I should. I looked at my books. I had like over 450 hours of vacation
Can I
time.
borrow some of that?
450 hours of
Pay me
vacation
in
time.
cash.
11 weeks in a row?
So, I've just recently started, just taking time for myself. Like,
Good
just
for you,
like,
man.
fuck it, I'm not coming into work today.
Well,
and putting in a slip.
Black
Or-
men are 10 times more likely to die of a preventable disease than their non-black counterpart, and that's just not okay. Like, there are so many ways that we can take care of our
So,
men.
I would tell you, I'm on a high deductible health plan, but I go to the doctor. Like, if I fall in the concrete,
I wish my husband would.
I go to the doctor. If I cough for more than 2 days, I'm going to the doctor. My wife be like, "Hey, babe, just give it a second, but I'm sick. I'm sick. Shit. If I can't go to the doctor, I can't go to work. Can't go to work. Can't get no money. Can't make no money. Can't take care of the home.
I'm from that tribe. You ain't dying. You can go. You still get up and go to work and do all this other
Put some
stuff. That's how my
Vaseline on
mama
it.
was.
Yeah, I ain't no tribe, nigga. Can't go to work.
Drink this orange juice and go to work.
Okay, so it's funny that you guys say that because I remember a time when my husband had a slight scare, and I had to yell at him because he's very stubborn, and I think it's because he just doesn't feel like he doesn't feel like I don't know. I don't really know why I don't know why. He
Well,
doesn't
I mean,
go to the doctor.
it's more of a we
but
are okay
it
internalizing
yeah.
that
it
we
makes
don't
me
need
angry.
no medical attention.
We are so strong and we are the man. but
Maybe that's what it is, but it
but
makes
I'm
me
telling
so
you-
angry because I want him around.
Let's go.
And I want him to
Yes.
stay. And I had to, at one point, I had to just tell him, listen, you got to do this for your kid. Like, how am I going to explain if
Yes.
something happens to you?
Yes.
How
Yeah.
am I going to explain to your son and your daughter that
And then
something
you-
happened to daddy?
And then you gotta take care of him by yourself. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know what I do,
That's
but
some
I
bullshit.
I do the best I could.
Because
but I
you
just
didn't sign
wanted-
for that, right?
Well, I mean,
You
hey,
didn't. You didn't
I
sign for
didn't,
that.
but
So if
I just
you
want
guys
him-
are on a team and with the right work-life balance, we should be able to take care of ourselves.
I just want him to go.
But what do you
to
mean
the
by
doctor.
okay?
You got the
When he
thing. You
has
got the
to.
wheels
Professor,
spinning.
you gonna talk
You
about
got
his-
the
his
wheels.
his
spinning.
wheels are turning.
You're using Donald Trump hands now,
Yeah.
real bigly.
You gonna talk about the
cannot-
Sophia
So
experiment?
I know men like your husband, and the first thing I would do is I would kind of dive into maybe the history of health with his parents, people in the, maybe that's kind of scary to him.
If you know better, you do better, right?
No, sometimes you do in different areas of your life.
he pushed that off. He's like, no.
Yeah.
He's stiff on that. He's stiff on that.
I mean,
That's my boy, man.
there are things that you do better at. It could be in one area of your life, not so much in another area of your life.
Bro.
But a lot of times people are afraid.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know
true.
what's ahead of you.
That's true, man.
I'd rather
The Tuskegee experiment. You gonna talk about it?
Talking about when
The
they injected
Tuskegee
syphilis in them.
They injected syphilis
Right.
in black men and
So-
wouldn't even tell them that's what it was. Trying to take
That's
the
how I got
experiment.
No.
that shit.
No.
No, listen. No. We got something more current than that. Listen to me. Actually, Lynn, that's a good point. No. There was a doctor. This happened to 19 women not too long ago. They were women of color. He did something to them. Each one of those women are sterile. They can't have kids.
Oh, I heard that.
Right.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So my thing is,
Applause.
I know that like
He's
many
smart.
other,
That's why he's the professor.
like many other men of color, we got to take care of ourselves. There's always that scare factor.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
we don't make time.
But I think there's other things. I also think it's that, sometimes men of color are essential employees, and so you have to take time off, and you may have to take unpaid time, and
My
it might
husband
be
hardly
just
takes
hard
time
to.
off.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are other things that, yes, there's the fear of knowing the truth, but I think there are other things that get in the way, and if we offered more paid time off, or, my previous employer before I was self-employed offered, like, if you did this, then you would get money towards your health care,
Oh, yeah.
because there is so much value to keeping people healthy. And, unfortunately our culture, go back to your president last night, talked about how ultimately there was the fracking and how fracking is affecting African-American communities, and he said, well, they're making good money. Well, it's not just about making money sometimes. Sometimes it is about the mental and physical health of people.
And lifelong health
If you are
issues.
killing me while making this good money,
Yeah.
Then you're a good
So
man.
what?
You're a good man.
So
it doesn't
what?
matter.
You're a good man.
What?
You served your country
You served
well.
the country
Yeah, so
well.
what?
But you got to understand that
Look at how COVID is affecting the African American communities.
Get that money.
true, but look historically, look back to when the man was the head of the household. He went to work all day. He came home. All he desired was a meal and some intimacy. From his standpoint, sex. And
That
then,
was back in the day.
right. So I'm making
It's
a point.
probably current, too.
I'm doing.
No, I desire a whole lot more. I tell you, man.
Probably current.
I'm building traction here. So now, if you look at current day society, our black men, by definition, are extinct, right? So the black men who are
They're
the black,
extinct, like a dinosaur.
well, I'm talking about as far as their role,
Oh.
managing their role.
No, I would say some just manage better than others. You have some people that, and I'll be honest with that. You have some that are able to have that traditional role and still move forward in that aspect, and you have some that just, like the younger generation can't cut it at all. If it's not about me, then I don't want to. I don't care about the head of the household when it comes to me.
I would
But you
disagree,
have- hold
though.
on. So let me-
I think
so-
that this generation cares a lot about the
About
children
themselves.
they bring. The children they bring in. Everybody, my
They
children.
like fuck them kids.
FTK,
No,
baby.
Listen,
That's that generation.
I'm gonna tell you, it's
That's
very-
my generation.
it's-
I think this generation
It's a
of these
social
parents
media
these
generation.
fathers take better care
There
of
are-
their children than they have in the past.
Well, I think that
They do.
our generation, we were ahead of the curve. We could wash our own clothes. We could keep our own house clean.
do all
We know
that
how to
shit.
pay our own bills.
Yeah.
This new generation, they have trouble paying a cell phone bill.
I can pay that shit.
I remember catching the bus to pay a utility
Keeping a
bill.
job.
I remember catching the bus to pay a utility bill at 12. Listen, at 12 years old, with a $80 money order. You better
Money
not,
order.
You
Remember
better,
that
you
shit?
better not lose it. You
39,
better-
19 cents at the corner
I
store.
had to
sure
take the
was.
bus all the way to the market to pay the bill.
And you paid it.
But the point is, I don't know very men of color. I don't know very many men of color who take care of their households who have a healthy work-life balance.
It's
I don't.
It's almost
I don't.
impossible.
Now, you just said you have 982 hours of vacation that you haven't used, okay? And you have
How
a
about
family,
you, Professor?
okay?
How about you?
Huh?
A lot.
What you got?
What I have is my strength, and I have my health, and I have my God.
But do you take care of your household and have a good, healthy work-life balance? Is what D is asking.
So in terms of
Yes.
in terms of
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question, Professor.
she's an attorney, she's a banker, she's a judge.
Oh,
What are you
I'm
right
not an
now?
attorney.
I'm just saying. If you did it 8 years ago,
We're still waiting.
I'm
Okay,
asking
so
a
the point is,
question.
We're still
yes,
waiting.
So-
yes or no? It's a yes
what
or
is
no
your question? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
So you said there you don't know very many black men who are taking care of home and taking care of themselves. Are you
I didn't-
taking care of home?
that
and
was
taking
not
care
my
of
question.
yourself?
That's
but
not what I
she's-
said.
she's asking a yes or no
that's
question.
the question I'm asking.
Come on,
it's
Trump.
a yes or no question.
I said.
I have helped the blacks bigly.
So your question, what did you say again? Okay, so
So
you-
hold on. So let me say this.
So I can write down my questions for the professor.
So this is what
Professor,
this is
why
what I
are your
said.
He
hands
can't give a
I
yes
don't
or
know.
no.
I don't know too many.
yes or
African-
no? Are you doing
She's
it?
asking in regards to yourself.
Can you mute the
not,
mic?
not
Can you mute the
everybody
mic?
else.
husband
Can you mute the
is
mic?
doing it.
Can you mute the mic?
My husband is doing it.
Thank you.
The great
Okay,
debate.
so let me say this
husband's
before I
doing it.
answer your question. I'm
He's
going to
gonna
answer your
Lynn
question.
and
He's going to
Denise.
answer. He's going to get there.
How
My,
is today?
my statement was this.
Land is playing.
I
Where's
don't
JB?
know many
Land is
black
playing.
men who take care of the home who have work-life balance. That's what I said. Now, I'll answer your question.
So we
you
got to
want-
figure it out, right?
So you want to put words in my mouth. Now, what was your question again? So I'll make sure I answer it accurately.
You know the question.
Professor!
One more time. Bigly.
Bigly.
Can you ask him my
Do
question?
you practice this work-life balance?
The answer is no.
Why?
He answered.
Because I really wasn't taught how to do that.
But do you know better now?
I do know a lot better.
All right.
And again, every day I'm striving to be my best every day. My father kind of fell short in that area. So sometimes we overcompensate in areas in our lives where someone that's significant to us may have fell short. So if your mom or dad didn't have a lot of toilet paper in the house, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have walls and drawers of it. If you guys didn't have a lot of food in the house, you're going to pack rat and have a whole bunch of food in the house. My father fell short in that area. And there were times where I fell short. A long time I fell short. So let me make this clear. I'm just now getting my stuff together. So I just want to keep it real. I know I'm the professor, but this is the intimate part of this conversation, right?
So I want to
So-
talk about the black
so-
men in my life. I think that the black men in my life do a much better job today in 2020 than they may have in the past, as far as taking care of both themselves and having and work-life balance and taking care of home.
Still learning.
And so I would say that this generation is doing better. They know better and they're doing better. And I think that ultimately they, I would disagree with what you're saying. I would say we're on a trajectory where black men are learning to do better for themselves.
So are you talking about health? Okay, this generation as far as health care?
I'm talking about what you just said.
just talking
you
about all
just
around.
said
Hold on. I'm going to make sure because I have a point to add. Go ahead,
to
Lynn.
take care of self and to take care of home, to both meet the obligations at home and to meet the obligations of work-life balance.
It's less men doing
of
it.
work
It's
and-
less men doing it.
I
It's not
would
as popular
disagree.
anymore as it was.
I would
Everything is
say-
non-traditional
now,
nowadays.
don't get me
Everything's
wrong.
not. I mean, you got 2 boys kissing. Everything's non-traditional. So my point to that is, it's relationships and work-life balance in terms of home it's not as traditional as it was 50 years ago. It's different.
There is a difference. You're correct.
So what I'm saying is, today in
I
today's
hear what you're
society,
saying, but
in
does
African American man
that-
society, there are not a lot of men who doing it.
Well,
and if you
I will
ask
tell
women,
you-
they will say, "Hey, they're not good men out there anymore."
Maybe I'm just blessed because the men in my circle are doing both. I could name 25.
So now
I
you're a
bet.
pastor. You were a banker. Then you were a
could na-
lawyer. Then you were a
I'm
judge.
not- listen,
now you're a
I'm not-
pastor.
I am not anybody's pastor.
I must be in Lynn's circle. I'm doing that shit.
Hey, you know what? I would say that the men in my circle are doing both. They are both taking care of
Hey,
responsibilities at home. Hey, boo. And they're taking care
Y'all
of
heard that?
work life, and they have.
So
a
I get an
work-life
F.
balance.
Taking very responsibilities at
Well,
home. I don't take care of me.
I would have to say that I grew up in a single parent household, so it was just my mother, and I didn't have my father around, and it just so happened that my father passed away this June, and I hadn't seen my father in many, many years, and I didn't know how to feel about that because he never taught me how as a young girl how I should be loved. So at a younger age, you look for something that you don't have. Yeah. And so that's what I ended up doing. And then fast forward to now, the present time, my husband and I, we've had issues, we've had struggles, but I think that over the course of the last, I would say 5 years, we've been married for 11, and over the course of the last 5 years plus, we have begun to start understanding each other more and learning each other more. And I can honestly say he does truly love me. Now, sometimes I'd be like, well, you know, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But that's just my own. That's my. So it's just all in my mind. But I think that it originally came from. Shut the hell up. I feel like
that didn't sound emotionally intelligent, dude.
It came from the fact that it didn't start with my dad. You know, and my dad never. My dad never, you know, he never, and still at the end of the day, he dies, and I still honor him by paying for his funeral with my other siblings. But I did that because it wasn't for him; it was for me, for your heart. And it was for me to know, you know, to show my children that even though he wasn't a part of my life and your life, you still have to show love, even when love is not shown to you.
And this is, I mean, that's the perfect, just the example of why. I mean, even if you're not together, still having that man in that child's life, or still having, you know, that woman in that child's life is a huge thing to still teach those things, to still learn those values.
Because, you know, a woman can't raise no man.
Not efficiently.
She can't.
Efficiently.
Not efficiently.
Because that's like saying, because what happens is.
I say efficiently.
She can teach them how to cook and clean.
Right. But there's things that only a man can teach a man, right?
And some values.
And it's, you know what it is? It's the mentality.
How to treat a woman.
Because I'm a single parent mom, and I understand. But
you do got boobs, nigga.
You might want, I don't think you into that. Say it again.
Oh yeah, I did say
I'm the product of a single parent.
He said it right.
He's a single mom.
He said it right.
Yeah.
He said it right.
I've been drinking this shit, man.
Should I just move this?
We got Dale in the building, y'all.
Hey,
Hello, everyone.
What's up, Coach?
It's been some weeks.
What's up?
Coach in the building. What's up, brother?
Coach, what's your mind? We've been talking about a whole lot of things, but right now what's sticking in my head is just I've been getting jumped, and it's normal for the professor.
Been getting jumped. Don't believe the hype.
See, the first one to speak is the.
I was on your
Don't
side.
believe the hype. We've been on the side several
For
times.
being on your
Listen,
side.
I'm talking to my brother. You see how
That's
you
too
see that?
much. That's
Brother
too
to
much.
brother, they interfere bigly. The point
It's
is
when you start putting out these false.
I'm sorry. What was your question? That's not the point.
Inconsistencies.
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, what's the question?
As black men, okay, because you keep it real. You know, you keep it real. So ain't no we gonna change that. Okay.
Man, say shit.
Be patient. Be patient. Man, daddy, uncle, mother, daddy. I don't know what you are.
Hey.
Dale,
Okay, hold on.
do you think
I'm universal, brother.
I got you. So my point is,
I'm a single mom.
do you think so? The men today are not like the men from yesterday. We talked about historically how the men had values and their goals were to provide for them their families, provision. Do you think that we have more men like that or less men than the men from yesterday? And second, do you think we've gotten better with work-life balance?
One, I think and I'm kind of along with you. Every man in my circle that I've grown up, you know, uncles, my dad, uncles, grandfathers, so on and so forth. No, he kicked my ass. I said that shit. But I will say, I think we have less of those men. I think we have less of those men overall.
In general, we're speaking in general.
In general, and I think the reason why we have less of those men is a lot of times because of the right now the woman nowadays is standing up for herself now. You know what I mean? So when I say
all
that,
these independent women, are you meaning
that's
like
a strong
that?
statement.
I don't need a man.
Dale,
I don't
exactly.
want a man.
That's next hour. That's next hour.
No. That's next hour. Cats out the bag. Cats out the bag.
That's
Cats out the bag.
So I'm saying that because I'm like, right now, men, like I said, we talking about back in the day when men had to provide and do, you know, blah,
What
blah,
made
blah.
it work though? What was the difference? What made it work?
What made it work?
Yeah, back in the day.
That was the way it was. It wasn't no question. That was the way it was.
So you mean to tell me the woman understood her place and he understood his?
Then yeah,
I'm just trying to find out.
So back then the woman's place, as it was seen back then, was you take care of home, take care of the kids. Men, The man goes to work. He provides food. He provides shelter. The women take care of the shelter and take care
But
of
what
the
if he
kids.
was going out there at work? What if he had to work 12, 13 hours?
So once he got home,
What happened?
What did he do?
Like, what was it like?
So once he got home, it was pretty much chill. Yeah, because but once he got home, dinner was made.
Yep.
The
But
kids,
hold on,
the
but she
kids'
took her house
homework was
though.
done.
How can
Professor-
she cook dinner and take her house?
Professor.
Okay.
How can she do that?
Professor.
Hold on, listen
Professor,
though. So,
he
so
talking
that's-
good, man.
So
Let him preach.
that's how it was, right? That's
Yes.
how it was. All right. So now
Fast forward.
fast forward through all kind of reasons. I mean, we could talk about drugs. We could talk about a whole bunch of reasons why black men incarceration. Reason why black men are no longer in the household. So women had to step up.
True.
Right? Women had to step up and start doing those things. So they had to go to work. So they had to go to work. They had to start making sure the bills was paid. They had to and on top of taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, they had to go to work. They had to do all the shit. So now the generation we have now, that was their grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? So their grandmothers taught their mothers, hey, this is what you got to do. You don't depend on the man.
But this is
you gotta do it yourself.
Can we do this though? I mean, because we need to. I mean, I hate to say it like this. Can we do some code switching? I mean, to be like, learn how to be able to do these things, but don't cut it off the back of mind. Like you don't need a man in your life. You can do all this by yourself. You don't.
And the women, I think the women that say I don't need a man is because they haven't found a man. They found a guy. They found a
So
dude.
they don't need a guy, but they need a man.
They found a guy that can have sex with, that has a job and can pay a couple of bills. But they, I try to slide
Your little
past that
cousin?
one.
Oh, your little cousin, Lil Will.
Baller,
your
shot caller,
What's his name, Lil Will? What was his name?
20-inch reels
On an Impala.
He's a highway,
making money the highway, but I'm about to get paid today. Better way, yeah.
His name was Lil Troy.
That had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Hey,
His name was Lil Troy.
that was fly though.
It definitely was.
That was beautiful.
But back to what we were saying. So all right. So
But no, I'm with you.
second question.
I was with
I'm
you.
sorry, go ahead.
My grandmother,
She was.
my grandfather had passed away by the
she was
time I was
100.
born.
Yeah, she was.
She was over 100. And my mother was divorced, and so that's all I saw was what it looks like for a woman to have a household. But then and my husband, that's all he saw was what it looks like for his mom to be the head of the household, to be honest. But then we come together and I'm like, we are like, hey, what does this look like for us? And I believe we've broken some generational curses in what we do as far as, a mom and a dad and working together. And, my role is his helpmate and those kinds of things. And so I just feel like, in the past 20 years, I'm not talking about, before 2000, but in the past 20 years, the circle that I see, the friends that I have, my friends they take their role as the submissive wife.
Shit getting better.
And the men that I see take their role as
Submissive
the
wife.
as the
I don't
head
think
of
I
the
know about
household,
that.
and we move
That's
forward.
next hour.
So Lynn, I got a question.
Next hour.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's next
Lynn,
hour.
I got a question.
Hey, that's a good one right there.
That's next one.
Yeah, we going there.
Submission.
I ain't got shit to do.
But I got a quick question. Me neither. I got a quick question, Lynn. I really would like to meet your husband one day because I'm curious.
Oh, he's pretty awesome.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
This work-life balance. But my question to you, Lynn, is this. What have you contributed to his life to assist that work-life balance?
That's funny. So my husband and I had that conversation not too long ago where my role in our business compared to my role in our house, because we do have a bit of a different dynamic because we own a business together and we have a house together. And so we kind of laid out my role at work is probably only 25%. My role at home is probably 75%. Most of the time I've got dinner ready. Most of the time I've got the house. I do the house cleaning. I do the who has to get in, who has to get out, whatever at home. 75% of the time at the business, because he did run the business while I was in corporate before I came out. 75% of the time he runs the business. And so because we've landed there, I think we are fine. Now, again, my husband and I have been together 19 years. So this is not a brand new figure it out kind of situation. And the business is 12 years old or 13. So, I mean, we're not brand new to this, but we've only been together in business for almost 3.5. So we just had to have a conversation about what's your role, what's my role, what does this look like, and then we can complement each other in those spaces.
That was a beautiful, long ass answer.
It was long. It was long.
But it was nice though. It
Almost
sounded-
lost me, but you got me.
Did I
You got me
ask
back
the
though.
question?
It
You
deserves a
absolutely
golf
did.
clap.
Hey, you absolutely, that was a great answer. It's a great
good.
answer. No one's taking that from
I
you.
think that work-life balance is a team effort. So, Lynn, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's hard sometimes because for my spouse and I, we are starting a little late in terms of the growth process, relationship-wise, financially, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that we had to figure out.
Better late than never.
Yeah, that we didn't know.
true, brother.
That we didn't know. So that's the beauty of relationships. That's the beauty of forging a relationship, because you're taking two separate materials and you're putting them together. But I think we had a lot to learn, and the fact that we stayed together, we were willing to learn it together, made it even more beautiful. We are starting at a time where most people are truly and totally established, right? So we have a lot of ground to make up.
Take your time.
I mean, I know some late millionaires, late bloomers.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I don't
the
let that
intent.
matter.
That's definitely an intent.
Don't rush that.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna rush it because I know more money, more
Don't
problems.
rush.
But
But-
the professor, I'm sorry. But the Bible says the race isn't given to the swift, but those who endureth until the end. So it doesn't matter how fast you go. It's whether you endure until the end.
Sounds
Turl.
to me like Denise is the preacher.
Oh, okay.
Okay, preacher.
Amen.
So, like I was saying,
Tell you something.
that
Come on, preacher.
when you have some traction to make up, again, the race is not given to the swift, but to the one that endures. You know, you want to make a man. See, a man prides himself. His
Pride.
He prides himself. I say prides, nigga.
Pride.
Prides, nigga. Because that shirt is money green.
Is
It could be
that-
olive green.
is that
It could be
biblical?
dookie green. It's your choice. It ain't
But
my
guess
choice.
what, though?
So
This
prides
motherfucker green,
is
though.
green. So the point is,
That
pride.
bitch spin.
You subtract from it. I never forget you said that.
Bitch be a small one. I'm done with it.
You said it will be. You said you can subtract from it. I never forget that. But the point I'm making is,
Man,
the point
I
I'm-
was about to get back to
it
that,
was.
'cause I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was getting deep. The point is, a man loves his family so much. They are his, I don't want to say trophy, but he holds them in high regard, high esteem. And
That's fine,
his-
but part of holding your family in high regard is gonna be taking care of.
Cut you right at the leg.
Being there, you gotta be there.
So
taking
yeah,
care of yourself.
so yeah,
is-
you're right.
your
So
ass
so
off.
Taking
so
care of yourself is.
so the
I
point
love that
is,
shit.
so the point is,
He's just
that-
talking and shit, man.
Taking care of yourself
Yeah,
is.
you're right.
is
Keep talking,
also-
man.
Yeah,
don't
keep
worry.
talking, man.
Just drop kicked him.
I'm in.
Don't kick me.
In the ball.
Intro. Intro.
Lynn's still here.
He should fuck up the
Hi, Lynn.
Hey.
Lynn's still here. Hi, Lynn. But
I've
the
listened
point,
to a lot.
But the
Somebody
point
needs
is,
to shut him up.
but the point is that, and this is the thing about it is, this thing about Lynn is losing something valuable because I'm giving her a glimpse as to how men think, and she's losing it because she knows everything. So, but I'm giving her a glimpse on how she knows everything. She's like a computer chip.
All right, let's get back on track.
So the point is this. The point is this. a
Where
man-
the fuck you going, man?
be patient.
I have zero.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Be patient.
I'm not in love with you.
But the point is
I love
this.
you, but I ain't in love with you.
The point is this, that a man holds his family in high regard, and he wants to be able to provide for them. So when he's working from the back, and everybody knows, hey, you know, at a certain age, you want to be a certain way, and you want to be a certain place, that you got to work to get there.
Some
right?
people do their best work from the back. I don't know.
Oh my god. Hey, did you get the explicit thing at the beginning of this
Always.
podcast?
You know, I got it.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure we don't get in trouble for this.
I know they got it.
Now, you know, the professor's versatile. Where are we going with this?
Hey.
I want to be a part of this. I want to be the first conversation.
So basically, you part of the back.
I have a question.
Are you the back?
Hey, let's land this
Hold on.
plane. Professor, take care of yourself.
Take
care of yourself so you can take care of your
Self-care. Self-care is the best care.
Work-life balance requires sacrifice. You have to get
It
there.
does.
And
the
sacrifice includes taking care of yourself.
What do you mean?
Doctor.
I got a question. Maybe I'm coming because I came in late. Oh, sorry. Well, what do you mean take care of yourself?
Doctor.
So there was a conversation about self-care.
She had it with herself.
Do men? Nope. Actually, D started it.
Okay, go
but
ahead.
Nice try. Should men take care of themselves? What was that your question, D? How men take care
my
of
question
themselves?
was,
Like go to the
us
doctor.
as
Who's
men,
talking about doctor?
yes,
Going
sir.
to the doctor,
Self-care.
working on
You
your
ain't
own
talking about
mental
like
health.
like manicures and
Manscaping.
pedicures and
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, that could be part of it. It actually, if
We're
that,
talking about
if
heart
that helps
health,
your mental health,
cholesterol,
if that helps
blood
your mental
pressure,
health,
blood pressure,
Man,
cholesterol, stuff like
I
that.
don't talk about that. Listen,
Emotional health.
And so-
I don't know when that became a thing, but it needs to go back away.
Why?
Dude, I that's just me. That's just me. Maybe I don't know what it is. I can't have somebody just rubbing my feet and doing the pedicure.
It feels amazing, bro.
That's to you. Hey, that's what
and
you
then,
like.
And then she
That's
go,
what you like.
She go up your leg and shit, man. And she get to your knee, you be like, ooh.
No, I wouldn't, because I would never go that far.
Yeah, you have no
No.
choice. She don't ask you.
No,
she don't. She just does it.
That
Yeah,
is-
you know what I'm talking about, man. Just does
And
it.
that's when the
Isn't that
professor
called
said
rape?
black men don't take care of
said
themselves
called
because they have to take care of their families, and that's how we ended up down this rabbit hole.
There are other
bet.
priorities.
All right, so I'm with you, Lynn, on that one. Hey, as far as health
Welcome,
wise,
Dale.
you definitely got to take care of yourself. Now,
Of course we, but
now,
do
if,
we?
If you feel, do we? No, we don't. We don't.
Thank you.
But we should.
I agree, but
We
we don't.
should- we
and,
don't.
And why is it that we don't?
I do.
What comes before that? What is it so important to us that we would put other things in front of our health? What is it?
My family.
Thank you.
I ain't gonna lie.
This is what I'm trying to give them a glimpse into how we think, and they're
it's that's a contradiction.
It is contradiction, and it's kind of stupid if you really think.
But tell
about
us
it.
why, Dale.
Like,
Tell us why.
It's stupid because exactly what Miss Lynn said. If you cannot take care of yourself, you
Miss
can't be there
Lynn.
for you. You can't be
He made it professional.
She old enough to be Miss Lynn.
He put some respect on that name.
She pinch like a 60-year-old.
He put some respect
Shut
on
the
that
hell
name.
up.
Miss Lynn.
Shut the hell up.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dale. Tell them Miss Lynn.
But I was saying, I love that shit.
This is
I was-
13 doesn't mean
I was-
now.
Go ahead and make sure you address Miss Denise too.
I don't want no problems. Respect. I respect. But I'm with you though. Like we. So to both of y'all points, we should take care of ourselves. But we don't.
Why?
Because we say for whatever reason, we try to do it for our family. Me personally, I don't go to the doctor because I hate going to the doctor. That's what it is.
They keep you
there's
for a week every time you go.
There's no reason, and every time I go, they tell me something that, man, maybe something is wrong, but it's like,
See, for me,
I don't
it
understand.
kind of fell into a category of I'm not the important one here. Let me keep pushing through to make sure this side is
Thank
okay.
you. Finally, you're
And so-
honest. Finally, you're honest.
I mean,
It's not about a right or wrong. I'm trying to educate the women. We're giving you a glimpse as to how we think. We're not saying it's right or wrong, but we're trying to give you we're educating you because you need to know how we think as men. If you don't know how we think as men, how can you love us or care for us? Period.
I would assume.
Yeah, I just go to the doctor
Some
because
insight on that.
'Cause
I
your
mean, I
wife-
see what you're
'cause your
saying.
wife
'Cause,
tell
I
you
mean,
to.
what he's saying with that.
shit hurt.
Let me kind of break it down.
Interpret.
What he's saying with that is to be able to fully be able to take care of and understand things that we're going through, you have to be able to
Understand how we
decipher these
think.
things on how we think.
Women
So-
speak in code. They give you all these different signs that we don't understand. And then the men do the same thing. We're offering you an opportunity to see how we think.
Women give hints.
This is an opportunity
Men
for
talk
you.
straightforward.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for you to understand how we think. And you can better understand us and better care for us.
Because you take those.
Do you agree,
those
Dale?
tidbits?
Because you looking.
and
listen, I definitely agree.
Thank you.
And the reason why I say that, because my last dentist appointment, my last doctor's appointment, my last eye appointment, my wife made them. Be honest with you, I was not gonna make it. She was like, you need some new glasses. I was like, yeah, but this super glue's holding these other ones on. So like,
You're a
to
real
me-
man.
To me,
You're
it
a real
worked.
man.
You know what I mean? To
You're
me,
a
that
man's
still
man.
worked. So
You're a man's
persevered through that.
Exactly. So
You're a man's man.
my wife made the appointment, but that kind of goes as far as what you're saying to Lynn here, as far as she knows I'm not going to make a doctor's appointment. So if I need to go, then she's going to be like, hey, I called. Your doctor's appointment is on this day, at this time. You better be there, or I'm gonna kick your ass.
Right.
See-
Because you know what we worried about? that
I know
high
you ain't scared.
that high ass electric bill.
I know you ain't scared.
That high ass electric bill.
I said I don't want to take off work. That's what I said.
I don't either.
was like,
I'm worried about that high ass electric bill. That's why I ain't calling to make a doctor's appointment.
exactly.
Shit.
We trying to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
like,
I'm
like,
a little
kids got
different for y'all,
practices and
man.
everything
I
else.
need my shit right, man. Like, I made my dentist appointment. I made that shit before my teeth clean. So 6 months later, my shit made.
That's what's up, man. Senior citizens should do that, man. you got to stay up on your shit, man. Because, we don't know how long you're going to be
Hey,
here.
I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
Medicare don't cover everything.
You said getting old, motherfucker, you there.
Hey, I'm old, son.
Yeah, you right about
But
that.
to D's point, like there's some value in that, and like that's exactly what you
Fuck
want
y'all,
your
staying healthy,
husband
man.
to
Fuck what
do.
y'all
And
talking about.
I'm gonna be honest. For me, the best thing that my husband can do is be there after all these kids is gone and all this stuff is gone. I still want to be in love 100 years from now.
Want to be in love 100 years. That's good.
I'm 60 years
Yeah.
from now.
So-
like let's
so
hang
Lynn,
out.
that's
And
what's
if you're not taking
Damn,
care of
that's it?
yourself, well, because you.
But Lynn, this is the thing that women. So
if my husband's not taking care of himself, then how? Listen, I don't live for the short term. I live for the long term.
So Lynn, my question to you and to the audience: how do women?
Well, there's no audience here, so it's just
Well,
me and
the
Denise.
listening audience.
We'll do the best we can.
Okay.
We have
So
an audience.
how?
She's trying to
so
talk
how,
about our audience.
So how?
We got
How would
a
you-
mad audience.
So how
man.
do we? How
Can
do
they
we?
answer the question?
So Lynn, how do we as African?
worldwide.
You better retract that statement.
Yeah, retract
Can
that
they
statement.
answer the question?
Retract that statement.
Worldwide.
So Lynn, how
Why?
do we,
Why?
as African American couples, ensure work-life balance? What is the man's role and responsibility? What is the woman's role and responsibility to ensure that there's work-life balance? What needs to be done on both ends? Because it's not like you got the answer to everything.
Oh my God.
And you got
I can
2 minute
answer.
warning.
You want to answer?
It's a
Please
2-minute
keep
warning.
it.
Make
Please keep it
quick.
under 80 seconds.
So what you need to do is just take care of home, and taking care of home is not just financial; it's also sociological and physical, and just be there and take care of home.
So what is the woman's responsibility in helping and to ensure that he
Do it the
has a
fuck-
work-life
do it the fuck
balance?
we say.
To be a great partner in taking care of home.
What does that mean? Come on, listen. Now you're being.
You told me I had 2 minutes.
I want depth. I want depth.
I was trying to give Denise.
that was the
Okay,
the
Denise.
short
What is
version.
it?
That's
Give
the
depth.
The two-minute version.
Depth.
Appreciate y'all.
Depth.
That was the short version.
I think that for a husband and wife, it's really working together. As my husband always says, know your role. So you have to know what your role is as the head or the husband, and you have to know your role as the wife. So the wife would be a helpmate. So she helps him, assists him in any way that she can, whether that's being the cooking and cleaning, maintaining the children, and he, provides, and he, provides security and what have you. For us, we are still working on that. I think that we've gotten a lot better at it. There was times when we were terrible at it. And then I think that during that role, you have to make sure that you're communicating what the roles are amongst each other. Because sometimes when you have a person who's been independent for many, many years and ends up getting married, it's hard to shift.
It's true.
Good point.
And on that note, as we always talk about mental health, it's very, very vital for the Black community to understand the importance of mental health when we move along this path in life. As we always talk, self-care is always the best care. Make sure you are taking care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? And will you be there when someone needs to be there for your family when it comes to that time? And on that note, we out.
DJ Pt1.
You know I'm flawed, but you love me anyway. A lot of times I'm so wrong, but you love me anyway. Love me anyway. That's why you're my blood.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and we want you to come back for more. If you like what you heard, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on all the major networks: Apple, Google, TuneIn, Spotify, and many more. Check out our social media and please like, follow, and comment on Facebook, Black in Thought, Instagram, Black in Thought Podcast, and Twitter, Black in Thought Podcast. Please subscribe, share, and once again, thank you for listening.
You know I'm flawed. Would you love me anyway? A lot of times I'm so wrong. Would you love me anyway? That's why you're my blood.
Due to explicit content and language, listeners' discretion is advised.